Okay, so, Turnabout Samurai. I imagine this arc is going to be quite the divisive arc for a lot of fans, because this is where changes really started coming into play. I know I'm a little late with doing this video. Heck, at the time I'm recording this, this is the day that premieres the first episode in the Turnabout Goodbyes arc. There's a lot of reasons behind that, mainly because I've been busy lately preparing for my trip to California. So yeah, I've been preparing for that, but also I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of time with me so I can let everything that happens sink in a bit before I, you know, make a knee-jerk reaction to everything. So anyway, Turnabout Samurai. You see, like I say, there are a lot of changes incorporated here, but I've said right from the start this is going to be the case with an anime adaptation. And in some cases I can understand the changes, and I try not to judge a series, even if it is an adaptation of something, I try to judge it as a product as a whole, because, you know, as I've pointed out before, when it comes to, like, let's say comic book movies, like superhero movies, a lot is going to be changed from the comic books to how events played out, and I know fans like to complain about those as well, but I'm just saying, they still stand on their own as films because they're still telling entertaining stories regardless. So I'm trying to look at the Ace Attorney anime from that perspective, just saying like, okay, yeah, it changed a lot of stuff, but is it still an entertaining story? Yes and no. There were some good moments in it, like really good moments. In fact, there were some moments in the anime that I felt were handled a bit better than the game, and I'll probably get back to those in a minute, but my big problem is the pacing with this series. I kind of let it go with Turnabout Sisters because that was a short case anyway. But Turnabout Samurai was the first like big case of it all, and it feels like they tried to cram as much of it into, what was it, 3 episodes as possible. And if you follow me on Twitter, you saw I had a complaint about this in the first part of it all, in that there wasn't a lot of focus on the investigation side of things at first. It was pretty much, this is the current case, we meet a couple of characters, then it's straight off to the courtroom, and there's a brief montage of investigating, but we don't see any substantial actual investigating. Now, granted, in the actual games, on your first day of investigating in Turnabout Samurai, you don't uncover a heck of a lot, but still, it kind of feels like it was brushed over quickly. And yeah, it was primarily, like, entirely the courtroom for that episode. And the second episode, the second part of all this, the second episode in the Turnabout Samurai stuff, had primarily, like, entirely investigating, which I would have been okay with, except it felt like they were trying to cram too many plot twists into it at once and trying to get every, like, major, like, event told all at once, and rather than just letting it build, rather than just sprinkling a little bit of what happened over the story and letting the audience ponder, oh wow, oh, is that important? Oh, is this going to come up later? Oh, I bet this is all interconnected. You know, like it does in the games. Instead, it kind of feels like we get to the rush conclusion of, oh, D. Vasquez was the, I probably said her name wrong, I'm sorry, was the one who did it. That's the major problem with this anime at the moment. It's not, I don't mind the changes so much, although there was one major thing that did stick out to me, and I'll get back to that in a bit. That's the major problem with this series. It's the pacing. Everything is moving way too fast. I don't know exactly how many episodes it was picked up for. I suppose we'll find out by how long Turnabout Goodbyes takes, because I don't know that they're going to do past the first game. They might do Rising from the Ashes, and, you know, I think it all really depends on how many episodes it got picked up for, and we'll find out by either the end of, you know, Turnabout Goodbyes or Rise from the Ashes. Because if it didn't get picked up for, like, a full 24 episodes, then that is probably wherein the problem lies, in that they want to tell the whole story of the first game, but just didn't have enough episodes to do it in. Now, I would still make the argument that you could have told at least an abridged version of the stories in the amount of episodes you got, and I don't mean the whole doing a parody that barely has anything to do with the actual product sort of thing. I mean the actual use of the word abridged. I still think you could have done an abridged version of the story if you didn't try and cram so much in at once. It could be done. Just stop trying to cram everything together. Just focus on making it a good mystery story. Stop focusing on like trying to add everything from the games you can. Yes, it's going to upset some people when you don't include things from the games, but as long as it's an entertaining story, people will get over it. So yeah, Turnabout Samurai wasn't awfully done. It's just they need to slow down with the pacing, and I'm hoping they'll do that with Turnabout Goodbyes. I'm kind of going into a bit in the middle about it. Well, we'll see what they do. I haven't watched the first Turnabout Goodbyes episodes just yet as of this recording, so we'll see. Like I said, I tried to not let the changes bother me because I've said right from the start that this was going to happen, and you were fools to think it wouldn't. You were the fact is, if it was copying the games note for note, you would still complain anyway, because you'd say, oh, it's not doing anything original, oh, it's just retelling the stories of the games. If I wanted that, I'd go and play the games. Yeah, the changes I knew were going to happen, though some of them, I won't deny some of them did bother me. Like, Mia's involvement in this entire case is taken out completely. Like, she does not appear in this case at all. In a way, that's kind of a good thing, but it does also kind of bother me. It's a good thing in the sense that it does show Phoenix having to stand on his own 2 feet a bit more and not quite depend on Mia quite as much. But at the same time, at this point in the plot, he is still a rookie. He's only had 2 cases under his belt. And Mia, really, in this case, only served to just give him a nudge in the right direction. She didn't, like, hold his hand through it. She just gave him a nudge in the right direction. So, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on the whole thing. I'm disappointed that Mia wasn't involved, but at the same time I can see positive traits out of it, but yeah, I'm mixed on that. Penny Nichols is also pretty much cut out of this. She does briefly appear in one, like, frame in the investigation montage in the first part, but that's it. She doesn't have a single speaking part, but that's not really a major deal to me, because she really was not a major character in the case. She wasn't like a major witness or anything. Really, the only purpose she served was getting information out of Cody, and quite honestly, Phoenix and Maya found a much more entertaining way to do it in the anime, so so yeah, Penny Nichols not being a part, really, was that such a big deal? Was she really that important of a character? No, she wasn't. Like, literally the only trait to her personality was she's a closet Steel Samurai fangirl. That's it. That's it, that was her only charm. Oh, people are going to be hounding the conversation now saying, no, Penny Nichols was the best, Penny Nichols is my favourite character, Penny Nichols is my waifu. She barely did anything! But like I said, there were a couple of things that I thought were handled better in the anime than in the game. Like, personally I thought Cody's involvement was handled a bit better. Sure, he doesn't come to testify like he does in the games, but, you know, his getting involved in the final trial, just as Phoenix is giving up and giving him, you know, that kind of confidence boost, and also giving Old Bag that moment to come in and tell them everything about Vasquez's past, which was all crammed right into the end. There was no build-up to it or anything, it was all crammed right in the end, and it's pacing! But yeah, no, I liked him getting involved in the final death call. I kind of wish something like that had happened in the original game, because, you know, after Cody's testimony, he pretty much doesn't appear again throughout the entire case. I mean, it makes sense, he's done what he needed to do, you got the information out of him you needed, but I would have liked it if they'd done something like that with him, so I'm glad that that happened in the anime. That I thought was handled really good. But overall, Turnabout Samurai was flawed. It was okay, but it was flawed, and again, it's not to do with the changes, it's to do with mainly the pacing of everything. Everything felt so rushed. And yeah, that's what majorly hurt it, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to try and be optimistic for Turnabout Goodbyes, but, you know, again, it all depends on how they present the story. But, yeah, there were some good traits about it. Like, they did Old Bag really well in this adaptation. She was done brilliantly, and I imagine the person doing her voice had a great time voicing the character. She was done absolutely perfectly. And Maya also done perfectly in this adaptation. Maya they have got spot on. Maya they nail it. Maya is the one thing they actually do perfectly in this anime. So congratulations, you do Maya absolutely right. Hey look, all my critiques about this anime and its pacing and its weird choices in its adaptation are all completely worth it to see Maya make this face. Seriously, that made me laugh much more than it should have. Just seeing Maya make that face was amazing. In any case, let me know what you thought of the Turnabout Samurai arc in the Ace Attorney anime. If you like this video, please thumbs up it and share it with your friends. And if you're new here and you want to see more videos about the Ace Attorney anime from me, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure to also follow me on Twitter as well. There will be a link in the description, and I always post there after I finish an episode of the Ace Attorney anime with my thoughts on the episode. This is Anime Jack, and I am signing off.